What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of RGTP. I am your host, Lewis, and with me, as always, is the man, the myth, the legend, the guy with the cool hair, the Lion's
Oh,
Mane,
thanks,
the
bro.
big beard.
Thanks.
We
Yeah,
got the
thanks.
Mamba.
I actually had a dude in like the dollar store, like, how long? How long has it taken you? And he's just like touching all over his face. And I'm like, it's been a minute, bro. It's definitely been a minute.
Dude was a mime for a little while.
Right, right.
Dead.
I'm
That
great
is
though.
funny.
I'm great. Doing great. You doing
That
great?
is
I hope you're doing
what's
great.
up. I'm doing good. Doing good. Feeling
Oh,
good.
not
We
great,
are
just good.
live. We finna talk some power rankings. We got some trade deadline
Oh, that trade
situation
deadline,
going
bro.
down.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna talk about some of the games coming up, and then of course we're gonna take our tour around the NBA to talk some basketball. Of course, there's gonna be tons of fun, but nonetheless, what better place to start than the RGTP power rankings? And just like last week, we're gonna start from the top because not much has
Yeah.
changed. We're going to shoot rapid fire through here. At number one, still the Philadelphia Eagles. Have you guys seen anything?
Yo,
They are
they should have
unbeaten.
given us our pick back, man.
They are
Don't y'all want to
steamrolling
be
everybody.
better?
They just beat the brakes off of Pittsburgh, even though everyone's
That
beating the brakes off
everybody's
of
doing
Pittsburgh.
that, yeah.
But this is our first trade deadline stop of
Yep.
the list. Robert Quinn officially joins the Eagles defense that over the offseason has continued to improve and is currently leading the NFL in turnovers, if I'm not mistaken. And Jalen Hurts and company get another weapon on that side of the ball as we saw A.J. Brown go absolutely crazy once again. But
At
Eagles.
my expense.
Eagles. Yeah.
I won though. Yeah, I won though. I was so happy. Eagles, yeah. It's not much to say. Everyone knows they're winning. Run the ball. Could have had Kamara, could have given us some of those picks, man, but it's cool. Continue winning.
And at number two, we have the Buffalo Bills, who also
Another
made
team.
some trades and some moves. They picked up running back Naheem Hines from the Indianapolis Colts to be added to the backfield, the pass catching back, sort of mixing in because they don't have a phenomenal run game. They do more of the short yardage passes and just let Josh Allen lower the shoulder and lay the boom on everybody. Well, yeah, they wanted Christian McCaffrey. They wanted Alvin Kamara. They probably could have gotten. They probably wanted Hunt low key.
Yeah,
but
Hunt is probably the one person that I was surprised did not get moved.
Oh yeah, him.
It makes sense. So
Elijah
his
Moore also
contract.
did not get moved. Brandon Cooks was another guy
Look
that
at
people thought would get
the
moved.
Bills. Everyone knows they win, and we ain't even got to talk about them anymore.
No,
they're going to win next week, games, probably.
They just absolutely torched.
Oh, they're getting Tre'Davious White back as well.
Yes, he just came off the public. They just torched Green Bay, even though Green Bay put up a bit of a fight towards the end. It didn't really matter too much. Another trade deadline stop, as we previously mentioned. This team is just good. This is a good football team. So
offense, defense, special teams, they got it.
Absolutely. As we move on, we have the Kansas City Chiefs in at number 3, still the reigning top 3 so far. Honestly, top 4. We'll get to Minnesota in just a minute. But yes, Kansas City, they decide to add a young Kadarius Toney into the mix. They did not play this weekend.
No.
They had a bye. Yes,
Thank God, because I played Travis Kelce this week, bro. That's why I won.
Yeah, they had a bye with the Chargers, if I remember correctly. So they did not play. Just resting up, getting better. They will be playing Tennessee in a game that we'll be talking about in just a little bit. But the top 3 continues to be exactly the same as we move on. Another trade deadline stop. The top 4 rounds out with yet again the Minnesota Vikings here, and they made a huge splash, adding TJ Hawkinson, a top 5 tight end in the NFL in division trade with the Detroit Lions, also snagging 2 Detroit Lion picks later on, so they should be high.
2 fours, you can take those 2 fours and trade up to get like a second or a third if you package it with the right player or the right pick. Like those 2 fours are probably like the best thing they got in this trade. I know Hawkinson's probably about to go, do good, do well. You got Justin Jefferson to worry about, Thielen to worry about, Osborne to worry about, Dalvin Cook. Madison can come in at times. This offense got scarier. It just sucks they didn't do anything to address the defense, but I guess they're happy with where they're at with the defense for now.
Yeah, they're clicking. Just had a thrilling overtime win over the Arizona Cardinals. They are set to take on, I can't remember who they play coming up, but they
Seahawks.
might have a bye.
They play the Seahawks.
Arizona plays the Seahawks. Yeah. Minnesota though continues to keep clicking. Looks like they're probably going to run away with division. Everyone in division did something.
Hey,
somehow.
Vikings were 9-1 odds at one point during the season. I said in the party, those are some good odds to take to win the division, man. And yeah, they're killing it.
They're looking good. They're looking good. As we move off to round up the top 5, the Cowboys, who've been floating around in this 5 to 8 range so far. The defense is solid. Brought back Dak. Dak looking all right. So far, so good. The offense obviously was run through the belly of Tony Pollard, and we finally got to see what he looks like being the lead back. How are we feeling right now? Cowboys getting pieces back, even though they missed Zeke, but it didn't really look like they missed Zeke.
Did they really miss Zeke? Yeah.
It didn't really look like they missed Zeke.
Zeke coming back, and maybe this is the game where they're like, Pollard, yeah. Like, we know we have to run Zeke, but maybe only do it when it's like goal line or like 2 yards to get the first, maybe in power situations. That's when you put Zeke in. But Tony Pollard looks, if the Cowboys can't pay him, whoever signs him is going to be great. And I don't know the contract situation, right? He could be a free agent this year, next year. Some team may trade for him, right? Like, if they have him under contract and they are going to commit with Zeke, why not try and see what you get for Pollard? Because a team will call for him.
Most likely.
Zeke? A team might call for Zeke, but that contract is crazy.
Yeah. Contract is not pretty for Zeke. But yeah, no, Tony Pollard come back is definitely coming in and being
I think I saw
is interesting enough.
When he gets like a certain amount of carries, I can't remember how many carries. They're like undefeated when he gets those carries. It's like 20, I think, or something. It's stupid amount, but it's undefeated with him as they were running back. Yeah,
he's been their best running back since last year. Absolutely.
And Micah Parsons continues to just. I think he's trying for MVP, bro. Like, I think he wants the MVP.
Hey, he's gonna have to keep on trying.
Yes.
But yeah, top 5, relatively the same. Creeping in, the Tennessee Titans are now streaking, beat up on the Colts. They just continue to win games at the very moment. They have an interesting game, as previously mentioned, with Kansas City. We'll talk about in a little bit. But Derrick Henry's running the ball. Derrick Henry is back since week 2 or 3.
Yes.
We talked about last week. They're winning football games now. They won a game where Malik Willis was able to dish out a whopping 6 completions. That's it.
Nice.
That's all they needed.
Mac had what, 3 in a win last year?
Yeah. Well, 2 completions and 3 attempts. I think Willis was 6 for 10, I believe, or 6 for 11, but only had to get 6 passes off in a win. Steamrolled. Houston actually is what I believe. Did they play Houston?
They did play Houston. They did play Houston.
They steamroll in
the Colts. If you want to talk about the Colts, they lost to the Commanders.
Yeah, they're just whatever.
Thank you
for stopping by, Big Nis. Thank you for stopping by. Yeah, undefeated.
The Titans are 5 at the moment. Oh, bro, that's crazy. And after those 2 losses, it was like, oh, they're missing their wide receivers now, huh? And their defense. We were all saying it looked bad. Derrick Henry looked bad. Their defense looked bad. Tannehill bad. Maybe Woods was like the only one that was okay, right? Like, they turned it around. Vrabel is just showing why he is a great coach. Obviously, you want the playoff success, but regular season coach, he's got it, bro. And there's a lot of coaches like that. It's hard to win the Super Bowl. That's obviously the next step you want for the Titans.
Win some playoff games.
Yeah. The playoff success is what they want. But Malik only having 6 completions. When you have Derrick Henry and he's running like he does.
Right.
Yeah. It's okay to be the sidekick to him. It's okay.
It's okay. I hear it. No, I agree. Derrick Henry is just an absolute monster. This team is looking like it's back, but they're going to need to do something in the playoffs, though. They're going to need to do something.
They made no moves.
No, they didn't. They stood pack. They lost to the playoffs a few years ago to Lamar. Last year, everybody knows the Joe Burrow game. So they're gonna need to win some games. It's good to win some, regular season games, but
9
we've
sacks and you
seen it.
lose.
Yeah, you know what I mean? We literally saw them last year, number 1 seed, get 9 sacks and still threw the fucking game
Yep.
away. So Tennessee, you're moving up on the list because when you got Derrick
Yeah.
Henry,
Y'all are
it's
winning.
guaranteed.
Yeah.
As we move on, moving up the list, the Seattle Seahawks, believe it or not, they're winning football games and
Killing
they're beating some pretty good teams. They beat the Chargers and the Giants in consecutive weeks.
Yep.
It's They obviously beat Denver to open the season. This team is a weird ass team. I'm very surprised Gino and
Yeah.
company have able to get it clicking. They lost Rashad Penny a little early, but Kenneth Walker is clicking.
Yeah.
DK
He's
and
showing
Tyler
why he
Lockett
was
are
in the
looking all
Heisman.
right. The defense has been up to par, been better than last season, surprisingly.
Yes.
It's just very odd. And I mean, Tyler
They've
Lockett
all
said
bought
it,
it.
Yeah, Tyler Lockett kind of said it.
Yeah.
This is what it looks like when we're not all it's a me kind of team, which
Yeah.
seems to be the trend with Russell Wilson over this season so
Not
far.
looking good.
Teammates
Not
are now
looking
starting
good
to,
for him.
turn the other way. We have Marshawn Lynch and Richard Sherman, and
Yeah.
we're hearing him doing all this shit on the plane. So Seattle's like, word, that's a
Dude.
load off of our shoulders. And are they about to fuck
And
around
we're
and win
winning.
their division?
They're winning.
Are they gonna
could.
fuck around and win their division?
It really seems like they could. And
Crazy.
they're gonna have 2 first-round picks going into next season, I believe. Like the Seahawks, when they traded Russell before the season even began, I was expecting the wheels to fall off. Everyone would want Pete's job, bro. I thought it was gonna be horrible, and
oh yeah,
no, the horrible is now in Denver.
People were penciling in Bryce Young up there already. Like, oh, that's where he's going.
Yeah. The offense, I don't know if he had 2 touchdowns in this last game, but he's had more two touchdown passing games in this season than he has in his entire career. Gino is rocking, bro. This man is killing it, and I hope it continues. I know when they run into a buzzsaw in Philly or potentially Cowboys, like there's going to be some tough matchups for them, and
we're going to talk about their game against Arizona in a little bit.
Yeah. Solid team, though. I'm glad I was wrong about them.
Most of America was wrong about Seattle.
No, for sure.
Coming in at number 8, regaining a position on the list is the Miami Dolphins. Obviously, moving up. Now that they got Tua back, 5-0 when Tua is healthy and playing.
I see the tweet that says when he's not dying on the field.
Basically. When he's healthy, they win games. He gets the ball to these receivers. We've seen Waddle and Tyreek go absolutely crazy. And then it helps. They're just bringing in the running backs that Mike McDaniels had last year.
Yep.
They basically brought in Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert since he got there. So they're just bringing back his run game. And this team is very, very 49ers-esque. It is very 49ers-esque when you start looking at how positions line up. No, Mike Gesicki isn't George Kittle, but he's
he's solid.
He's pretty close on the receiving side. He's more of a receiving tight end than a blocking tight end. Of course, me too.
Yeah, I would love him on my team.
And then obviously we have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle that play the Brandon Ayuk and Debo Samuel. So this for McDaniels has actually panned out really well for him from being the OC on that team to just taking it over. And the defense, Miami's been known for their defense for the last 2 or 3 seasons now. That's really where their bread and butter has been. So this team all around getting better, that defense, and trending in the right direction.
Yeah, just added an elite pass rusher and Bradley Chubb. Are you kidding me? I know they lost Byron Jones, I believe, right? It was Byron or Brandon.
Byron.
Pretty sure he's done for the season. That is a tough loss, but y'all still got Howard. What's his name? Holland.
Yep.
Is that he goes crazy? I see him all over the field. Yeah. And Tyreek Hill has more receiving yards than a good amount of teams have, like
Yes.
for most of their wide receivers. So yeah, this is another team I'm glad I was wrong about. Very wrong about.
They are trending in
And
the right direction.
good job, Tua. You
And Tua
prove
playing
when
games.
you play, you are worthy of being where you were drafted. You're a good quarterback.
Tua about to fuck around and throw his name in the MVP hat. He keeps
I
playing
need
like this.
him. Just calm down, homie. I know he slid in this last game, and we ain't mentioned it, but that dive with the Steelers, that was crazy, bro. Crazy.
He ain't gonna stop. He ain't gonna
He
stop.
ain't.
It's a heat of the moment type thing. It's just like Lamar. They just
Yeah.
keep going. It is what it is
Do
at
you
this point.
think you think he's ever worried that he's gonna if he slides wrong, he messes up his hip or his ankle because he has had injury history there
Maybe.
too. You think that
Maybe.
could? I mean, things to think about.
Things to think about too. Just be safe out there. No more concussions.
Right.
Moving on.
Yes.
Number 9, sliding down the Giants.
Yeah.
Still on the list despite losing to Seattle. Of course, they lost to Seattle, who we have at number 7. Leapfrog them. They're not horrible. It was a close game. It wasn't like it was a big blowout loss by any means. It was a close game. Came down pretty much down to the second half of the game. They just couldn't get it done. But I don't think the downfall is upon us just yet. But I think this is one of the steps in that sort of direction. We got to see where the Giants are at. But you beat a lot of good teams, and you beat a game. They're in a weird spot.
Yeah, it
was a weird loss.
their offense was just too slow on Sunday, and obviously not every team is going to be able to make them play like that because they won 6 games for a reason. They've been able to move the ball. But that Seahawks defense would not let Saquon go anywhere, bro. And then Daniel Jones, I don't think he missed many passes. He's usually an accurate quarterback, but they weren't moving the ball down the field, right? Like the Seahawks would get a big play here or there. The Giants were 3 yards, 2 yards. At least from what I saw, right? From what I saw, their offense looked way too slow.
I hear it. I still don't think they have a receiver that's cracked 300 receiving yards yet. They're outside of Barkley.
Said
it is
he will talk to Odell.
Prayers.
Reunion.
Odell just comes in and is somehow back to some sort of Fort McGlory. I highly doubt it. But yeah, the offense is just stale outside of Saquon, and whenever Daniel Jones, takes off for one of those runs, Tony is obviously gone. They moved on from Kadarius Toney. They got to figure out some things in that wide receiver room. Maybe that's going to be trending where their future draft picks go, or if they decide to move up,
maybe smart.
Move up to try to get a receiver.
There's a couple. There's
Jordan
a
Addison,
couple. Yeah,
looking like a real nice receiver over there.
You got Jalen Hyatt. I don't know if he's coming out after this year, but that man in Tennessee is balling. Jackson Smith and Jigba, and Ohio State. Keyshawn Butte, his stock is probably falling because he hasn't had the best. But if you can get him back to where he was and he's catching the passes, he should be a top wide receiver as well. So you got 4 right there. And we know the wide receivers, one goes in the top 10 and then about 2 or 3 between 11 to 15, right? So
yeah, which probably be where the Giants are picking up. But yeah, got to get some weapons, Giants.
Unless they keep winning.
Gotta get that'd be crazy. And to wrap up the top 10, we have the Baltimore Ravens, who just missed out on the top 10 last week, come back in after beating up on Tampa Bay, putting Brady and the Bucks in dire need to get a must-win game this Sunday. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but they also made some moves. Bring it on, one of the best linebackers in the league. Roquan Smith is officially out of Chicago. He didn't want to be there, and he is officially
he did want to be there. From what his statement, he did want to be there, but the contract talks were not going anywhere.
They didn't want him there.
Pretty much.
I'll leave it at that. They didn't want him there. Roquan's there. How we feeling, Baltimore? On the way back up, much like Miami. And then obviously Roquan Smith edition.
I know it's like don't compare players or anything. I'm not comparing them, but like adding Roquan Smith, it just brings me back to when they had Ray Lewis in that middle. That man is going to be everywhere, tackling everybody. He gets like sacks, fumbles, interceptions. He's had multiple of all those every single season since he's come into the league. Over 600 tackles since he's come into the league. Like,
Tackling machine.
yes, him and Patrick Queen next to each other. Queen he hasn't been the best since being drafted, and this gives him someone that he can lean on. So now he can just be everywhere and use his speed like he did in college in his rookie season. Ravens are gonna,
super explosive defensive player to add on that mix. Little surprised they didn't make any moves on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Having Bateman is now injured again, which is starting to
Mark
draw
Andrews
some
might be
concern.
injured.
Yeah, Andrews' injury definitely concerning, but when you go out, you get Bateman. He was your rookie from last year. He's banged up last year. He's banged up in his second year. Starting to get a little concerned on what Bateman's going to be looking like, getting banged up so many times. But yeah, just such a surprise they didn't go defensively. I mean, they didn't go on offensively.
Yep.
But yeah, Roquan Smith, that is a huge, huge addition. And it's gonna play dividends in a playoff game. He's probably gonna absolutely take over one of those games and win it for him. To be honest, one of the best linebackers in the game.
One
of the best linebackers in the game.
Ring.
For sure. As we continue to tour around the NFL, we have some more trades to talk about. As previously mentioned, Chicago Bears, they made a play to get Chase Claypool. How surprising was Claypool's move, considering he's just third year, I want to say.
His second year. His second year, I believe.
Really?
I believe so. For some reason, yeah. He rookie season was with Big Ben. This is his second season.
Yeah, I remember that
one. I wasn't surprising that he moved to the Bears. Maybe kind of surprising, and they gave up a second-round pick for him.
Yes.
I saw some Bear fans were like, "Oh, so we'll give up a second for Claypool, but we won't use a second on Pickens? Are we serious?"
That's a good point.
It is. It is. But he'll be a great jump ball for Justin Fields. Dude's tall. He's got some speed to him. He can get down the field. The Bears' offense, it's Justin Fields, Khalil and Montgomery every once in a while, and then the wide receivers and tight ends are like non-existent. You might see
super mid.
You might see a big play from a wide receiver here and there, but it's Fields getting it like perfect to him. Fields hasn't really turned the ball over, hasn't really missed any passes. I don't believe. A good playmaker for him, though. It is good for their offense.
Yeah, this can hopefully unlock something for their offense. Darnell Mooney hasn't quite panned out as a lot of people were hoping. Cole Kmet is a little bit slowed down. A lot of high expectations.
I don't think he's ever started.
Well, last year he made a couple plays last year, and a lot of people were hoping he would just be able to capitalize off that. Hasn't quite worked out, but yeah, Khalil Herbert and David Montgomery have been leading the way in the backfield. That's pretty much what they've been doing for the last few seasons. David Montgomery has been one of their better players for the last 2 seasons. Although Khalil Herbert
he gets injured a couple times.
Yeah, Khalil Herbert has come out and has his fair share of good games, bouncing back and playing really good for them. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do going forward. As we move on, the sick and twisted joke that is Calvin Ridley's suspension rears its ugly head again, as he is now officially a Jacksonville Jaguar. He leaves Atlanta.
Fantastic.
Why the joke continues? This is the team he bet against. He bet on Atlanta versus Jacksonville. And now he's a Jacksonville Jaguar. So full circle, the suspension comes back, and now he's there. But it's not going to do anything immediate. Obviously, he's suspended for the duration of the season. But what are we feeling, next year going forward? Another piece for
Christian Kirk, Calvin Ridley, ETN. I like it. And it's the O-line is solid. I believe the Jags' offense is ninth in offense.
They're okay.
I believe their offense is up there.
They were on this power ranking at one point for a reason.
It's tough to say, but Trevor Lawrence next year, I don't have any more excuses for you. All right, so many people, all I hear is dog water. He's a lemon. They traded Minshew so they could have Lawrence, and I get it. It's been a shit show since he's got here.
Yep.
One more year. It's another year under Doug Peterson,
Right.
I think my favorite part about the trade is the fact that someone named Not Ridley 18 placed a bet that he would be on the Jaguars next season. And they bet like $5,000 to $8,000, bro. And the odds was like plus like 10 or 100,000 type shit.
Wow.
So that person just came up, and the name of the user was Not Ridley 18.
That's fucked up.
That's amazing.
That's funny.
I love it.
That is
whoever that person is. Whoever that person is, you are brilliant.
Fortune teller somewhere. Someone out there has sick voodoo powers.
They just
and was wishing this all off season long. They were wishing this all off season long. Let's get into some games for week 9. Thursday Night Football kicks off. Philadelphia goes down to Houston. I think this feels like a pretty basic game.
Philly, yeah.
Philly. Yeah.
Hey,
no
I
offense,
mean,
Houston.
okay, hold
on. Guys.
Yeah. They might play tough in the beginning, but Philly's gonna get it together, and Houston's not gonna be able to keep up.
Yep. Agreed.
Derek Stingley balling.
Yeah. No, for sure. One of our teams, the Patriots, play host to the Indianapolis Colts, who just benched their
Matt Ryan fired their offensive coordinator.
35 million, whatever.
He's close to 40. Matt Ryan is. If not over 40.
Patriots are gonna win this one. It's gonna be a really close game. We barely beat the Jets. The Jets literally came down to Nick Folk literally kicking us out of the game and bailing us out. So this is going to be a really close game, but it's another young quarterback, Sam Ehlinger. I don't trust will come and torch us the way Justin Fields did a few weeks ago. So I think our game plan will be solid for that. This is going to be an ugly game. It's really not going to be a beautiful game to watch. But I'm going to rock out with the Pats. I'm going to say we take this one. And hopefully JT doesn't go too crazy.
Yeah, you know what? I'm picking the Pats too because it seems like Jonathan Taylor may be out this week with a ankle injury. Okay. Hopefully not, but yeah. I am never drafting a running back in the first round again, bro.
I'm not doing it. 2 years in a row.
I'm not. This team could just fall off a cliff, to be honest, if they want. They
already fell off the cliff. They already fell off the cliff.
L to the Patriots. Ramondre Stevenson is about to bully y'all.
Dude. Moving on, one of the games we previously touched upon. Seattle goes down to visit Arizona. Divisional game, which are always some of the best games. I got Arizona winning this game. I talked about it a few weeks ago. I feel like Arizona was on the come up. I picked them to beat Minnesota. It did go in overtime. It was a close game back and forth.
But it did not happen.
It did not happen. But Nuke is back, and since he's been back, he's been the leading wide receiver in the NFL since he's been back in catches, touchdowns, first down. Like he's back. He's back. Yeah. It's not like it was an injury. He was obviously suspended for drug violations of 6 games. Whatever. He's back though. I'm going to give this game to the
wrong team.
No, it's one of those games that you said where they're going to run into some teams where Seattle's going to start struggling. This is going to be one of the first games.
No, sir.
And you're going Seattle. Why?
Of course. They've already beaten them. And their offense wasn't even all that great. They were not clicking. Yeah, the Cardinals, they shut them down a little bit. And it will be difficult having DeAndre Hopkins back. But this is another week for the Seahawks to prove that they are not a fluke. And even if it is a kicking battle again, I'm all for it because I picked up their kicker.
Moving onwards, we have two teams that are in a much needed win, and they're lined up in the NFC. We had a rematch of a playoff game. Rams head to Tampa to take on the Bucks.
Yo,
Both teams, it's been an ugly
both
season for
teams
both
are
teams.
shit.
Both
Yes.
teams have been looking rather
And
ugly.
is Tom really about to drop 4 in a row, bro? Yikes. He is. Give me the Rams, bro. Fuck the Bucks. They suck. But you know what's worse? They have their first round pick. So they continue to suck. They're gonna get their quarterback.
That's I'm gonna ride with Tampa Bucks on this one. I'm gonna rock with Brady and the Bucks. I think they'll get this win.
They better.
Don't know.
If they
both
don't,
these teams, it's been an ugly season for both these teams. I'm just gonna rock with Brady and the Bucks. Maybe not. I don't know. This is just
Van Jefferson's supposed to be back. They want Cam Akers back. Cup, I saw, was a little banged up, you know.
Yeah,
but
Higbee also got banged up. Like both these teams, both these teams have been banged up. Like in general.
Yeah,
so,
it's gonna be a shit show.
it's gonna be a show. Moving onwards, we got Tennessee heading into Arrowhead to take on the Kansas City Chiefs in another one of our top 10 matchups. Should be an exciting game.
Is Malik playing?
I don't know, but even if it's Tannehill, I'm picking the Chiefs.
Yeah, me too.
I got Kansas City rolling on this one.
Yeah.
They're going to absolutely try their best to keep Derrick Henry with the ball, obviously. Tennessee's going to want to make it a long, drag-it-out game, have possession of the ball as much as possible, run the ball a billion times, and keep Kansas City off the field. But it's not going to matter because Kansas City's probably just going to score almost every time they touch the ball.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. I hope it's a good game. And Derrick Henry, can keep them in it somewhat. That Chiefs team is too much. They are too much.
I agree. I really do. Wrapping up NFL talk before we move on to basketball, we have one final game, our Monday night game. Your boys down in the Bayou, the Saints, play host to Lamar Jackson and company. Baltimore Ravens, come on into town. I'm sorry, I love you, but I'm picking the Baltimore Ravens. They're just streaking right now. Although you guys are coming off a very impressive 24-0 win over the Raiders. The Raiders are a rather ugly team. But I'm gonna go with Lamar and company. Go ahead. Who are you picking?
Lamar Jackson is 12-1 against his NFC opponents.
You guys gonna be the two?
Probably not, to be honest. Probably not. Our defense, it is very strong. Like, we have a strong defense. I don't care. Obviously, I do care if we win this game. But what I hope happens, is that Lamar looks at the defense he's playing against, and he's just like, I don't want to play against them anymore. I want to play with them, right? And then he looks at all the weapons in the offensive line on the offense of the Saints, and he's like, you know what? Baltimore? Don't pay me. Don't franchise tag me either. I'm not playing for y'all.
Not happening. It's not happening.
Yo, can't you let me just live for a moment, bro?
Not happening.
No, Baltimore is definitely their offense. Lamar, they're probably gonna win.
They're probably gonna
win.
It'd be like that, bro. Lamar already beat my team's ass earlier this year. He threw a party on our asses.
Oh, I know.
We made it close for a little while, and then they just absolutely hit the takeoff. So I feel it. I feel it. That is all for the NFL section as we take a trip down to the hardwood. NBA season is among us. We talked 10 teams last week. We have 10 more teams to talk about this week. And what better place to start than the team that you wanted to talk about, a team you were really interested to talk about. We got the boys right next door, the Miami Heat, sitting at a whopping 3-5 record, Jimmy Butler recently came out in an interview and said, "Hey, fuck that, because we're still gonna win the championship."
That'd be great.
How you feeling about Jimmy Butler?
I
Basically
love Jimmy
saying that.
Butler.
And two, how are we feeling, and why is Miami down to 3-5?
Jimmy Butler is like one of my favorite players in the NBA right
Dog,
now. Yeah,
absolutely.
Jimmy Butler has been fantastic since I started watching him. He has that mentality that when he needs to pick it up, he can pick it up and will probably propel the Heat to a couple of wins in the regular season. But the more I look at the Heat and the more I hear about them and the more I just watch of them, I feel like they might be in the worst spot in the NBA. And it's only going to get worse because they're going to have to pay Tyler Hero or they're going to lose him for nothing, you know?
They already paid him somewhat.
They're paying Kyle Lowry mad money to do nothing for them pretty much. They're paying Duncan Robinson to do nothing, like mad money.
Yeah.
And I don't think Bam can be a center by himself. Their power forward spot has been so lacking that I would love for them to just suck, right? Just suck. Yeah, be somewhat relevant. But don't make the playoffs in hope and pray that by some chance y'all can win the lottery and put Victor next to Bam. This team, it's just the way it's constructed, it's not going to – I don't think they're going to be able to beat the Bucks. I think the Celtics will be able to beat them. Yeah, and they're not a super – they re-signed Caleb Martin to, I think, a $40 million. So their money – Jimmy Butler is coming up being a free agent soon too, I believe. I looked at his contract like last week. I believe he's a free agent after the season. What is stopping Jimmy Butler from being like, this team is not what we had in mind when I was traded here. This is not what I want to do anymore. I'm going to go somewhere else. And then they're paying Kyle. They're paying Duncan. They're probably paying Tyler more money because, you know, they want him to stay. And it just, the Heat just, it does not look good for them right now.
Yep. So I kind of agree with they have depth. The problem is in the wrong area.
Yeah.
No, the problem is in the wrong area. Kyle Lowry isn't panning out exactly. Tyler Hero, Caleb Martin's playing a ton of minutes. Max Strus is playing 31 minutes.
Yep.
Gabe Vincent, you're finding minutes for Duncan Robinson. And you know what a lot of these guys have in common? They don't play any goddamn defense. And they're a bunch of guards. They try. A bunch of guards
they try.
that don't play defense. Duncan Robinson literally found his way out of the rotation because he can't play defense. Kyle Lowry has been injured.
You're paying $90 million to that.
He was even suspended, like internally, for not being in shape.
Yeah,
by
with
Miami
the Heat, you gotta have a certain like body fat percentage.
So, there's like a league one, and then like Miami Heat version is like even stricter than what the league is at. So their depth is in the wrong spot. I agree with what you're saying in that front of Bam being the only center because they're sticking Dwayne Dedman's ass out there to do the best he can, and they haven't been able to find. Yeah, they haven't been able to find their wing defensive game changer next to Jimmy, and this is Nips hit it right on the head. Last few seasons, their wing stopper on the side, PJ Tucker, Jay Crowder, Andre Iguodala. This season, they ain't got none of that. They have no one next to Jimmy to be able to help defensively and be able to back him up whenever he's not on the court, essentially. And another veteran guy, Lowry, has regressed a lot. Almost feels he's usually that guy. He's usually the leader, vocal leader, locker room leader, defensive-minded kind of guy, and he's just been he's just fallen off quite a bit there. I don't know what's going to happen with Miami. But let's take a quick trip on over to the west side for a little bit more on the upbeat side. Your guys in Phoenix. The Suns are rolling.
Not my guys. Just my guy.
Your guy, Chris Paul, is averaging 11 and 10 or 10 and 11. I can't
10 and
11.
Remember.
Yeah, 10 and 11.
It's 10 and 11.
Obviously, Devin Booker has been killing it. One of the best scorers in the league this season, of course. DeAndre Ayton, however, His season has been now plagued by injury, and then obviously the early on off season sort of a little bit of turmoil
Oh
with
yeah,
Monty.
Jay
You
Crowder.
know, yeah, they had the Jay Crowder issue, and then we had the contract dispute, them not paying him, that he was going to be a pacer, then they ended up paying him, and then the season
Yep.
rolls around, you're in preseason, and Monty's like, oh, me and Aiton, we haven't even talked since since that game, like
Yep.
4 or 5 months. They got some weird stuff. His numbers are a little bit down, but
They're
regardless, without
winning.
him, they're winning games sitting at 6-1. Cam Johnson is panning out quite nicely for
Yes.
them. He was a pick that a lot of people questioned when they took him so late in the lottery a few years ago. He's like
Yep.
23 years old. It didn't make a lot of sense, but the last few seasons has been panning out. They've gone pretty deep into their bench. I think they run like 10 guys deep, playing
Yeah.
at least 14 or 15 minutes. So really getting their minutes worth. How are we feeling? Because you're watching this team, because your man CP3's on it.
Of
How are you feeling about the
course.
Suns so far?
They look like solid. They're really just solid, right? They have their main scorer in Devin. They have facilitators in Payne and Chris
Yep.
Paul, and then
Yep.
it's their variety of bigs when they have Aiton, right?
Yeah.
You have Bismack, a little bit more defense and rebound. Dario, a little bit more spacing. This Jack Landale. I've been seeing him get a lot of minutes for the Suns, and I
Yeah.
I don't know what he does, to be honest. Like, I'll see him crash for the board, and he does, like, he passes, but I don't think I've seen him score. I don't know if I've seen him get a rebound. Like, I say when I'm watching him, I haven't seen him done anything for the Suns, so it's still open on what he's
Maybe
going to
he
be for
does
them,
everything. It's like the Grant
Right,
Williams effect, and you're like, I
right.
watch Grant Williams play, and he does nothing,
Yeah,
but really he does like
maybe it
everything.
is.
So maybe
Maybe.
that's what
Yeah.
it is.
Maybe. Yeah. But the team is solid. Their wings, McHale, Cam Johnson. Cam just had like 26 last night, I believe.
Yep.
Coach is great. They're a solid team. They're gonna win because they have winners now. It's all about that playoffs, though. I don't know how far. I hope, because I want Chris Paul to get that ring, but I feel like we may have seen the limits of this team. But they're still a good team nonetheless,
Nonetheless, I hear it's going to be interesting. The playoffs is obviously where things are gonna have to be done. Obviously, former Western champions fell off a little bit last year. Ran into Luca. So it's gonna be interesting. They're gonna want to get their get back.
Luca, though.
We're finna talk about Luca in a little
I'm a
bit.
Clippers fan, man. I know about Luca in the
We're
playoffs.
finna talk about
Bro.
Luca, but it's gonna come down to that. And then hey, health. All
Yeah.
about the health for this team. Hopefully they can stay healthy. Chris Paul, so far so good. DeAndre, and if he can come back and play the way we know he can play, then this team has a lot of potential. Let's move on over to the Eastern Conference once again as we continue to bounce back and forth. But we're going to bounce down to the lower half of the tiers here. The Detroit Pistons sitting at a whopping 2-6. Obviously, a lot of people didn't think this team was going to take massive leaps and bounds, but I was hoping for a little bit more progress. But Cade's playing fantastic, averaging, I want to say
22, 6, and 6. I believe.
Almost 7 assists a game. I believe it's up to 6.8 assists a game.
Yes,
Isaiah Stewart, for what he was known for last season, was almost trying to beat LeBron's ass. 13 and 10.
What's he shooting from three?
Pretty solid.
Do you know?
I don't think he's taking he's not taking many threes that I can remember. But he's been playing pretty solid. Jalen Duren is also on this team. 7 rebounds, 7 and 7. Who was one of their big needs going in. And then obviously they traded for the Utah Jazz's Bogdan Bogdanovic, who's also averaging 22 points per game. That man has been getting buckets since he was
50, 50, 90, I believe.
he just gets buckets, to be honest. He just gets buckets
you're thinking
no matter
of the
where he
Pacers.
goes. Yeah, he was on the Pacers. I remember he was on the Pacers. He went to the Jazz, who's getting buckets for the Jazz, and now he's getting buckets for Detroit. So it's not bad. They got a couple
of
obviously a few different players. He probably will, because he's just one of those pieces that you can get draft capital.
They traded a first round for him? Do you remember what they traded a second round? I don't
Nips, you're
remember
in the
what they traded
comments down
for.
below. Let me know
Right.
what you guys got for Bogdanovich, por favor. As he did leave us a comment.
Whatever.
This team needs Cade. He doesn't play. This team doesn't look good. He's been really impressive. Hey, I hear it.
Yes, agreed. Sadiq Bey has had his moments as well. Shout out
Yep.
Sadiq. I expect.
Oh,
Okay.
they didn't get any
Let me.
picks.
They
didn't get any
wow.
picks.
Wow. Okay. So.
It was Kelly Olynyk. Actually, I remember
yeah.
now. I remember now. Okay.
Well, they're gonna get a pick for him. Yeah. Bojan has been playing fantastic in any team that is going to make a playoff run that needs a wing depth who can shoot. You're gonna call it the Pistons and ask for Bojan, and I hope they brought him in simply exactly, and he's shooting 50, 90, right? Like that's ridiculous. Obviously, it's gonna go down a little bit, probably not much. They probably brought him in just to be the veteran for those, the younger guy. I hope Sadiq is just in practice, like, yo, let's play. Help me with my jumper. Let's do the. I just hope he's being the veteran that people always want veterans to be. And I hope it works out for them in the long run.
Yeah, no, I hear it. I really do. It's just we've been seeing it over the last few seasons. They just keep accumulating all these young picks, all these young talents.
He's averaging like 15 as a rookie. That's great.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He was a great pickup that he slid down there. Nip says a piece of him died when Bogdanovich ended up getting traded away. It was tough to see. It was tough to see. It happens, man. It really does.
Yep.
As a Celtics fan, I am very worried. Potentially seeing Grant Williams.
Oh no, you can say goodbye. I thought you were talking about Brown.
No, Jaylen Brown ain't going nowhere. Jaylen Brown ain't going nowhere. But if he does, I'm going to be very upset. Wouldn't want to see some of my guys leave. But let's continue onwards. Let's move back out west. Actually, let's hit the stop. Yeah. Let's talk about the Utah Jazz. Why don't we hit the Jazz? They are sitting at a whopping 6-2 record. This team has a lot of moving pieces.
You see the picture of Ainge behind his head coach.
Behind Will Hardy,
he looks a little mad, and everyone's like, there's a 9-foot tall Frenchman shooting from the parking lot. Like, we're trying to lose, it's great. I love it.
Oh, I know. I hear it. Next, I was ready to go. He said, let's go. I hear it. Yeah. Anyone that's watched the players that the Jazz got know that they could play. Lauri Markkanen averaging 22-9 shouldn't really surprise anybody. He showed a lot of flashes early on in Chicago. In Cleveland, it was a tough fit considering he had Garland and Sexton, and they were both trying to. He tried to make it work, and then Mobley was obviously coming into his own slowly throughout his rookie year, and you also had Jared Allen there, so it was really weird. And they brought in Karis LeVert midway through the season, so it wasn't that great for him. Now he's on a team, like we had previously discussed when the trade happens, where he gets to be free and he gets to play ball. He doesn't have to worry about being sharing the rock. He can be the number one scorer. Jordan Clarkson gets to come in and be a scorer. Although Sexton is injured, Sexton has shown flashes. One of the main clips going around is obviously him going on and taking on Jokic. One-on-one in the pick and roll.
Yep. The Bulls,
Mike Conley's still averaging 7 assists a game. If you know about these players, they're going to be pretty good. And,
you had high hope for this team, Lewis.
I did.
You were thinking
one of those
play-ins.
I was one of those
Do you believe
people,
that the Jazz can keep this momentum going forward, or do they get figured out?
What are you going to figure out?
Figure out how to slow Lauri Markkanen down, bro.
And then what? Then you got Jordan Clarkson and Colin Sexton going off. You have all these.
Jordan Clarkson could still be trading. There's still
maybe.
With no trades, does this team make the play-ins?
Does this team make the play-ins as
no trades? No trades.
Yes, I think if no one in the league, if we talking no one in the league makes any trades and this team holds back, I low-key like their chances to at least make the play-in game. Nif says it all starts with Will Hardy. Celtics boy. Thank you very much. Although he does wish he did have Donovan and Rudy Gobert there, which I absolutely agree. I wouldn't know what I would do if we got rid of Mitch Tatum and Brown, and I'm sure Mamba wouldn't know what to do if they lost Kawhi and Paul George, even though you guys basically been
Oh,
without
I
them
know
for the last
exactly
2
what I would do
seasons.
if we lost them.
Actually,
I'd
you
throw a
did
fucking
lose them
party.
both already, so yeah.
Yeah, I know what it's like to not have him. I'm all right. All right.
But
I will
no,
say
this
with that
team has
comment, hold on. With
chances.
that comment, there. Okay, I don't want anybody like. I don't want these words to be misconstrued. Okay.
Yep.
Yes, you would love to see what this team could be like with Rudy and Donovan, right? Obviously, you want to have Laurie, but you would want to see what your team that's made it to the playoffs with Will Hardy's system, what it would be. But with the way they're constructed, there's no ego, I guess, right?
Yep.
It's fluid with them. I don't want to say Donovan getting the ball, but like, do you see what I'm trying to say? Like, there's really no way to know if this team would still be like this because it's two bigger players, right?
Yep.
And we've seen them butt
Oh yeah.
heads before, like.
Oh yeah.
But this team is balling. They are balling. I'm not buying it yet.
I get where you're coming
Not
from because it
buying
happened.
it.
It happened to us last season. Marcus Smart literally had to
Yeah.
come out and say, "We're playing fucking iso ball. I don't know what Tatum and Brown are
Right.
doing. We need to figure this shit out." So we've been in that situation where we have to get our shit together. So I get it, 100%. Niv says the bench has been huge. Beasley,
Yes.
THT, Walker Kessler.
THT.
In his 5 games and 16 minutes per game has been producing pretty solid numbers. He's been their best rim protector so far. So,
Still
it's
not
really
a fan of THT. I'm sorry.
Again, it's because like you said, Jordan Clarkson might still be gone potentially.
Yeah.
Michael
Mike
Conley might
Conley.
potentially to be
Yeah.
moved on. So some of these minutes might just open up with THT.
Malik could also be a player that gets traded.
Well, that's what the fuck happens when you get 5 players and 5 picks. You're bound to get
Yeah.
something really
yeah.
nice worth trading. So
Jared Vanderbilt. Apparently Miami is thinking like, yeah, let's go get that guy to help us now. That would be your wing stopper.
Potentially. Absolutely, potentially. Yeah, the Jazz looking good so far. We'll see if this season continues. Mamba's not a believer. I've been a believer.
I'm
since
sorry,
the trade.
Nips. I'm sorry, buddy.
So I'm rocking with them. As we move on to the East, another team that made a trade, the Atlanta Hawks, are sitting at 4-3. Trae Young is averaging almost 30 and 10. Obviously pretty nice. And then of course, when you have your counter, your offensive shooting guy, you got a nice balance with DeJounte Murray coming in, averaging 26 and 6 or 26 and 7.
It's
they have a nice synergy. He's also averaging 2 steals a game. So that backcourt has been
like shit though.
Well, that's the thing.
He's shooting like shit, bro.
This shit is he started chucking shots his entire life. Okay, he's been shooting shots his entire career, and he's been making them. So people have automatically put him as, oh, that's the next Steph Curry. When in reality, folks, go look at his shit. He shoots like 34% from 3.
Yeah,
he's actually
it's
below league average,
bro.
but people fall in love with the fact that he just shoots bombs away and gives no fucks, and he makes a ton of them, but he takes a ton of them. So it's kind of like the James Harden effect, where they're realistically just okay shooters. If we're being honest, it's just when they get on these streaks where they're just super hot and on fire, the 3-point numbers sort of fluctuate. But he's not that great of a shooter. He's a pretty good shooter.
Their defense ain't the
but
best
he's not
either.
some sort of phenomenal shooter. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with them defensively.
Yo,
Capella,
he's been banged up a little bit, but
it hasn't been clicking.
I don't know how this team fixes what their problem is. I really don't. DeAndre Hunter has looked solid. Like Collins has looked solid. They don't play well together. Like they win. They are winning games, but if their point differential, they're negative. So like they're winning games barely.
Yep.
And they're like when it gets down to crunch time, the Hawks probably not going to rise to the occasion, it looks like.
What they've been failing at over the last few seasons is a bit of player development. They have struggled to get the
Yes.
next step out of certain players. Kevin Herter is now gone. They weren't able to sort of get the next step out of him.
Yep.
John Collins shown flashes of the next step.
He's
Has
averaging 12
stayed.
points now.
Yeah,
12
you know,
points,
he
9
has
rebounds, and he's
stayed
getting
in.
over 100 million.
He stayed in that trade rumor conversation. As previously compared to on the show, he has almost Aaron Gordon-esque qualities where
Yes.
everyone fell in love early on with the dunks and the highlight plays, and oh, that's going to be a star. Let's give him the bag. But people, it ain't all
Well, I
about
mean, the
dunking.
Hawks were wary of
It
giving
ain't
him
all
that
about.
bag.
Yeah,
He wanted more, and they were able to come to an agreement, but
they
it ain't
haven't been
looking
able to
too
get
hot.
the next step out of some of
DeAndre
the
Hunter,
next players.
he's averaging about 14, and you're going to get defense out of him. They just paid him.
They
That bench
are not.
unit, they have Bogdanovich. I think that's pretty sure that's how you say his name. But
Yes, the other Bogdanovich.
they haven't been able to get much from him either. When he came over from the Hawks, everyone was like, "Oh shit, him on the Bucks? That's about to be crazy." And then him going to the Hawks, it just seems like he is the same player being used the same as he was with the Kings. And with the Kings, he showed maybe give him a little bit more. Not the best fit for. Maybe he's a trade piece that they get rid of.
Potentially.
The Hawks need to figure it out because their defense, it's just too weak for their offense to make up for it.
Big Nick says they are just one of the most confusing
They
teams
really
in the
are.
league, and they really are. They really
Onyeka, I
are.
think, is averaging like 9 and 9
Are they
almost.
teetering on the ends of no man's land? Potentially. It's really going to come down to it. There's a few teams with some of these star players that at some point, especially the way the league is going, people aren't waiting. Some of these guys
could also
are
be
not going to wait.
worse. Yeah, it could also be worse
It
than the
could be.
Jazz because you have expectations for this Hawks team, right? You expect this team to at least be in the play-in, pushing that playoff spot.
Well, they were literally
What happens?
Eastern Conference,
Yeah,
in the
and
Eastern
against the
Conference, just
Bucks 2
completely
years
gone.
ago.
Yeah,
Yep. So what happens when they lose those play-ins? They're paying all this money to all these people. I don't want to say they're in a similar
bye
spot
now.
like the Heat. Yeah,
Goodbye
but
now.
it's kind of like the Heat. They are.
No. You know who
they
who
win,
they're
but
gonna risk looking like?
It's who?
The Wizards.
Oh
When they had John
man.
Wall and Bradley
Oh
Beal, and
man.
they were just one of those really decent regular season teams, and they
Yeah.
kept being a 6th to 8th seed and continuously lost in the first round. That is where Atlanta is going to spiral into if they can't get
Being
it.
a fan of that has to be so frustrating. Plus, our teams haven't won much recently. Your team more recent than mine, obviously. But we know what it's like to have teams that you feel are good enough to go a certain,
Yep.
and then they just don't reach it. And with the Jazz, like I said, I don't expect them to do anything. So when they do win, it's like, hey, that's a bonus. Y'all are winning. I didn't expect you to win. With the Hawks, I feel some teams they won't beat, like the Bucks, because who's really beating the Bucks right now? No one. But it's just very questionable. Yeah.
Yeah, Mamba. Stop picking on poor Nips,
I'm sorry.
man.
I'm sorry.
He gets
I'm
it.
sorry. My bad.
Being a Jazz fan is torture.
Hey,
He gets it.
I'll say this. I would rather your position than my position for the teams right now. My team's going to make it to the playoffs potentially and get smoked because they suck. You have a chance for Victor or Scoot, bro.
I'm dead. No way. Them getting Victor almost makes too much sense.
It does. Every team that kind of sucks, but they could maybe, Indiana, bro. I know we're not talking about them, but if Indiana can somehow get that number 1 overall pick, GG. GG, yeah.
Sick of the Pacers.
This is a year you kind of want to suck. Just because of who's in the draft.
True.
But obviously that's future. We don't know what they're going to be like. It just sucks being in basketball limbo. That's where the Hawks are at, pretty much. Yeah.
Hey, And this next team we're about to talk about as we jump off west is still in basketball purgatory. The Sacramento Kings sitting at 2-4. De'Aaron Fox banged up. Sabonis is having a setback season, averaging about 12 points per game right now. But it does have a lot to do with the fact that Kevin Huerter is emerging as a bit more of a scorer in this Kings system. And Keegan Murray coming in, averaging 17 points per game as a rookie will also do that. But the Kings are just kinging, man, and I feel like they've just been the Kings for I don't know how long.
I've never seen the Kings be good. In like my entire time of watching basketball, I've never seen the Kings good.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't think I've ever seen the Kings like at all. Like they had a couple years like Boogie, and they had Isaiah Thomas and Rudy
Tyreek,
Gay and
like
Tyreek. They had some flashes and they had a
get
lot of players, but
they get people that can be exciting, but they don't put a team around
and they're
that
just
player.
terrible at selecting coaches. Absolutely terrible at selecting coaches.
Sell the team.
At
this point, it literally has to be the owner.
So sad.
Tell me I'm wrong, though. 20-plus years, bro, of them
sucking. Are we blaming Divac? Is it all Vlad's fault?
Divac's not there anymore.
He's gone finally.
He's been gone, I believe. Yeah, I believe he left like 2 years ago, bro. Like, I feel like he has been gone for so long for some reason.
Maybe not. Maybe Buddy Hield telling him to pay me courtside.
Oh my goodness!
Now Buddy Hield's gone. It seems his fodder.
Yeah. They got a good amount of offense. Their defense a little lackluster. Not the worst, not the best.
Harrison Barnes is shooting like ass.
And they get a lot of turnovers as well. So you're not gonna win many games when you're averaging almost 17 turnovers a game.
Young team, a lot of up and down. They want to play really fast. And it doesn't work out all the time.
Okay. Do they just say screw it? Did they just say screw and trade De'Aaron and trade Sabonis? And nah, they're not going to, but they probably should.
Maybe Sabonis if it feels like that's not going to be a fit. I don't think you get rid of De'Aaron Fox unless De'Aaron Fox literally comes up to you and is like, hey,
yeah,
I just want feel like to be traded. I'm hanging on to De'Aaron Fox.
The only reason I wouldn't trade Sabonis, not because I like Sabonis as a player, but because you traded Tyrese Halliburton for him. Yeah. I think that buys him the rest of his contract in Sacramento.
I don't, but I hear it. You lost a really good player. You wanna ride it out, stick it out.
You'd be like, yeah, I'm wrong, but guess what? I'm gonna prove I'm even wronger, bitch.
No, I don't know. It's just such a good team, like on paper with
but I was very hopeful that they would at least push for playing. Obviously, very early. Anything can happen. Sabonis can kick it into a next gear. Maybe Fox. They start playing a little bit better defense, taking care of the ball.
Yeah,
maybe. But probably not because I've never seen the Kings be a good team ever, bro.
No, I agree. Let's continue taking a trip on back over to the Eastern Conference, sitting at 4-4.
Hey, these
Philadelphia, huh?
If we just flying back and forth, bro.
A lot of traveling. Yeah. Going to Philly, 4-4. 49ers, 76ers, 4-4. Joel is a little bit down on the rebound side, but on the bright side,
they look worse with him.
Hey, easy now. They got some things to work out. James Harden is balling and has officially bought into being this team's point guard.
20-10.
Tyrese Maxey embracing the scoring role. Averages more points, a better percentage shooting, and more shot attempts per game than James Harden. So it seems like they're figuring out their synergy, and their chemistry next to each other.
And they just need to work Embiid in now.
Yeah, they got some things to work out. They're trying to work in Montrez, Harrell in there. They're trying to. PJ Tucker was like the big snag, and
this team is not going anywhere, bro. It's not going anywhere.
Really?
No,
it's not going anywhere.
I hope that they can figure it out.
You was campaigning for these.
I almost put them in my finals, bro. Shout out the Nets. Woo woo woo. Yeah. No, it's not over for them. obviously they have great players. They'll be in the
Yep.
playoffs. If you get to the playoffs, yes, it's difficult,
Yep.
but you have a chance as long as you make the playoffs.
Yep.
And if Embiid, I know he's been banged up a little bit. He's missed 2 games already, I believe.
Yes. 2 or 3.
If they can just work on Embiid, I feel like he always wants the ball. Maybe not always wants the ball, but he wants to be the ball dominant, run through him. But, just get your buckets. You'll get the ball. Just make your buckets and don't pass the ball all and get a turnover. What is wrong with you, bro?
Clearly,
Get
you
it
saw
together,
something you did
Joel.
not like when you last watched them play.
No. It was literally the first game against the Celtics. He just threw a turnover in the fourth quarter, down 14, not even caring that Jaylen Brown is about to run right in front of the ball, and he just did not care. Like, you never want to see that as a fan of any team, right?
No.
If you see your star player who wants to be MVP so bad, just not giving what looks like his full effort, it's disheartening to see.
Hey, they got a lot of things to figure out. They're basically the Rockets from a few years ago. Everyone's had said that being.
Yeah.
And me and you both know they don't have that great of a coach. Doc Rivers is going
I mean,
to
at least you got a ring, bro.
Hey, whatever, man. Whatever. Y'all was close a few times.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to.
No cigar down there in Lakers Lob City land. That's right. You guys were Lob City at the time.
Just stop, bro. Just stop.
No, they got
their
some
ass this
to
season
figure
too.
out.
What's happening? What's going on?
Just some banging, but I don't even think it's. I think it's downstairs. Yeah, they got some shit to figure out. Coaching, obviously one of them. Move on. Going down to Texas, we got the Dallas Mavericks and Luka Legend sitting at 3-3. Luka's obviously there's not much to say. Yeah, there's not much to say that hasn't already been said about Luka. He is probably going to be regarded as the best player in the league. Probably around this time next year. There's probably going to be a legitimate shot that Luka is just the best player in the league. Averaging almost 30, 10, and 10.
Yeah.
A full season now with Spencer Dinwiddie. And then Christian Woods has panned out pretty nicely for them, averaging 17 and 8 off the bench, which has been a successful experiment nonetheless, having him come off the bench. But it's been working out. How are we feeling about the Dallas Mavericks so far? They're taking steps. Couldn't quite get past the Clippers. First round against the Clippers a couple years ago, back to back.
They definitely should have, though.
And they made it all the way up until they took on Golden State head-to-head in the Western Conference Finals last season. Trying to take the next step. How are we feeling as they tonight take on the Jazz?
Yeah. W for the Mavericks. Sorry, Nips. Luka does everything. Legitimately, pretty much everything. He does have the help.
Dinwiddie, that would be ridiculous.
Yeah, Dinwiddie, I think he's averaging like 14 or 16 when I looked.
16,
17 for Wood. It's such a weirdly constructed team, but it works because Luka is going to give you everything, and you just need a few people here and there to do what he cannot do, and they found a couple pieces. They need a little bit more wing defending, and Dorian can't do it all by himself. JaVale is solid. You know what you're going to get from JaVale.
Yep.
Good coaching as well. Jason Kidd, Yep. A solid team. Don't want to see them in the playoffs at all because Luka just takes it to not the next level. And not the level after the next level, but like that 5th or 6th, 7th step in the levels of he just turns up in the playoffs for no reason.
Yep. No, he is an absolute monster. Like I said, he's probably going to be one of the best player in the league around this time next year. We're going to give him another 12 months.
I think you can definitely see him in the top 3.
Yeah, he's definitely top 10. He's definitely floating around in the top 5-ish area. If he adds an MVP, knocks off a couple, gets a couple playoff wins here, gets into another conference championship. They're gonna be looking real nice in the near future. Let's stay in the West.
He's still on his rookie contract, bro.
another team with
Some
high hopes, sitting at 4-3. We have the Memphis Grizzlies. John Morant is still one of the most exciting players in the entire league to watch. Desmond Baines is proving people wrong, averaging 24 a game, shooting like
yes,
46% from three.
40, 44, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
around
bro,
there. Yeah,
he's just
yeah.
oh, here's a good question. Who is above Luca besides Giannis? That is
I think you can argue Jokic. I
okay.
think Jokic can be argued because he has
Yeah.
the MVPs. I know the playoff success, not as much as Luca already,
Yeah.
but I think you can argue Jokic, maybe argue Curry as well.
I would give you Curry. You can say Luke, Jokic. Durant is still a very, very good
Yeah.
player. LeBron has been showing he has not been quite a slouch. As terrible as they are,
Oh no,
LeBron is
yeah.
still absolutely
I'm
carrying his
taking
team.
Luca over LeBron.
Oh wow,
I'm taking Luca over LeBron right now.
hey, I
That's not.
respect it.
I don't think that's a crazy statement
Hey,
either for
hey,
anything.
I respect it. I
I,
respect it. I respect it. There is a few, but Luka is obviously clearly teetering up there. Giannis is
yeah.
the bona fide
Yes.
guy. But yeah, Memphis Grizzlies, John Morant, clicking. Another one of these weirdly
Offensively
constructed.
clicking.
Yeah, another one of these weird teams. You know, they got a bunch of different pieces in here. Steven Adams making a ton of money, averaging 5 points and 10 rebounds. Triple J being down is obviously gonna suck.
Yeah.
Dylan Brooks has found his sort of calling with this team. He sort of lost out on a lot of playing time and a lot of minutes due to injury last season. Desmond Baines, we're able to see his rise. But so far, they've been making it work. Conchar's also been, sprinkling in
Yeah.
rain. Like, it's just another one of those really weirdly constructed
They
teams.
have
But it
they have
worked.
depth. Tyus Jones
Yeah,
is solid off the bench.
that's another guy.
The main thing that they are
Weird.
missing is Triple J.
Yep.
Their offense, they're like top 5, I believe, top 7. But then their defense just falls off. They're like 29th in the league defensively rating. And yeah, you look at that team, they have okay defenders,
Yep.
but they don't have anyone who is really locked down, shut whoever is scoring crazily for against them. They are missing Triple J bad. But they're winning still.
Yeah.
4-3 and
Big
missing
Nip,
Triple J.
Big Nip says they're missing guys like Kyle Anderson and Shake Milton.
Guess what those two play? Guess they play defense. That's
They
why
play
they're
defense.
missing them. Yep.
Yeah. Kyle Anderson was definitely a big piece of what Minnesota is going to be doing going forward.
Yeah, we're not talking about them. I won't get on that. We'll save it for the next time we talk about them.
We've been to talk about Minnesota about 2 weeks. As long as we keep the cycle going and we keep it fresh, we'll be talking about them soon. But yeah, Memphis, interesting team. You know, Ja and Jalen Green had an amazing back and forth a few weeks last week. It's just going to be interesting to see if he's able to bring this team to the promised land. Tough loss last year.
Does he have the Luka mentality in him?
Luka's done a lot. That's the thing. Luka's set a very high bar for a lot of these young guys. So we'll see. But Memphis is going to be obviously a team to watch. Super exciting as we get ready to wrap up the show on the undefeated title favorites. The Milwaukee Bucks. Sitting at 6-0. Still no Chris Middleton. Giannis is just. I just don't know how else to put it. Giannis just does everything.
You can just put it as his nickname is. He is the Greek freak. He does. You talk about Luka doing everything. You see from Giannis, it's
does
been
everything
he's always the stat leader for like 5 things, it feels like, for that team. And it's like, dude, how do you have so much energy for all of this? You see James Harden, he was like, I save myself for offense, you know?
Right.
Like, you're saying Luka play a little bit more defense. Giannis, offense, defense, he's on it. He's got it. He's doing it.
He's what Russell Westbrook would be like if Russ was like taller, to be honest. straight rim running, grabbing boards,
Right.
getting assists, flying all over the
Yeah.
court. Russ's main reason why he doesn't make a major impact on defense is because he's little
He's
and
6'3".
you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like he can't make a massive impact. But like Russ thinks he's Giannis. Like in
Yeah.
all honesty,
I hear
Russ
it. Yeah,
thinks he's Giannis.
I hear it.
Like that's
Trey's gonna love that.
I swear, if Russ was Giannis's size, this is exactly how he would play.
I hear
Balls to the wall, nonstop, both ends of the court.
Yeah, I feel that.
And Giannis also knows, like, hey, let me stop doing some of the dumb shit that Russ seems to not be able to get out of his system.
Yeah. Bobby Portis though, ballin'. Drew,
Hey,
ballin'.
Bobby's smart.
Yeah.
I will say Bobby Portis is smart as shit. He keeps banking on himself, and every year he bets on himself.
Yeah, I'm gonna be
makes
honest.
more and more money.
I don't know why. I don't know why the Bulls ever wanted to get rid of him.
Because I've been what's his face in the
I don't care. That's just showing passion.
And that guy's out of the league now.
He wants to win, bro. And then he went to the Knicks, and him and Julius Randle were like a solid power forward duo. And then he gets a championship ring next to Giannis. Look at that. Love it.
Absolutely. Lopez has been balling. Absolutely.
He has as well. Down with injury last year.
Yep.
Showing. You remember me? I can shoot a little bit, get a couple rebound, block a couple.
Oh, yeah.
This Bucks team is terrifying, though. They
ain't back yet.
Exactly. You let them get fully healthy, and they stay fully healthy. Bucks
Superstar
probably,
Chris Middleton.
Yeah, shut the hell
Shout
up.
Shout out to Swavey.
Superstar but this Bucks team, Middleton. Yeah, they can. If I was putting money on any team right now to win the championship, it'd be the Bucks.
I don't blame you. It's a pretty good bet. It's a pretty damn good bet.
Yes.
They just have
not gonna win a lot because they're probably the favorite, but you're gonna win a little bit.
You're gonna win a little something. They just got a lot of things covered, to be honest. Front and
shooting,
center,
defense, playmaking, ball security, great grind. Grayson Allen, not afraid to trip someone every once in a while. We learned that in college.
They just got those players, man. They got those players that play hard. I will say. Budenholzer has somehow managed to find a way to always have his players play hard, and then when your best players
didn't get fired,
and he didn't get fired. He honestly he's holding strong. But yeah, Milwaukee Bucks sitting at 6-0. That's gonna do it for us. Next week we will do RGTP Power Rankings following week 9 and everything that goes on in there. We have the last 10 teams that we have not hit on. Some of the teams include the Pacers, the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Trying to let the Cavs get healthy,
Yes. We almost want to talk about the Cavs, but I want to see what they look like full strength. They are they're 6-1 or 5-1.
They're 5-1 with a plus 12-point differential, so they're blowing teams out.
We almost talked about them. We'll probably get to them. Well, we'll definitely get to them next week because we just kind of continue to cycle out teams, so we don't talk about the same shit over and over again. Sorry, Brooklyn, you fired your coach. We didn't really give a shit. We saw it coming. It wasn't that big of a deal. Potentially it is what it is. We'll see. He got a suspension to serve. That's gonna do it for us, Mom. But let the folks know what they gotta do.
Like, comment, share, subscribe, notifications on. Have a great night, evening, morning.
And
I'm forgetting others.
Yeah. This Friday, Crown Jewel preview show. Have a good night.
Is it gonna happen?